One time, that's shit.
Yo, yeah.
Yo, this that Onyx shit, you know what I'm saying? Coming out the motherfucking crevices.
Tape rolling, man?
Yeah.
Guard your grill. What it is like Chappelle show. Chappelle,
Yeah,
you better knuckle up. You better knuckle up. Hey, that's your part right there. Welcome back to Guard Your Grill Boxing. Nah, that's played out. Hambo, you heard? Guard Your Grill Boxing, box score. Shane Mosley versus Ricardo Mayorga. And we got Andre Berto versus Steve.
2 pound Forbes.
2 pound Forbes. For
No
which
count.
belt?
The BC strap.
The BC strap. We don't know how the BC strap ended up.
That's the linear belt,
No,
right?
well, not the lineage is broken, man. That was Floyd's belt. Floyd vacated that belt.
I ain't heard of Roman Floyd might try to come back.
Is
That's what I heard. I heard that earlier today.
he?
Such sweet songs. Floyd's coming back.
Huh?
You can't wait for Floyd to come back.
I don't, you know what? Because I heard he's running out of money.
Floyd has no money.
All right, let's get into it, man.
Yeah.
First of all, you know what? To be honest, I kind of put Andre Berto and your man Baby Bull in the same character, in the same light. It's just that excessive hype.
Big Mike is speaking. I'm sorry. Sorry. All right. Go ahead. Continue.
But
You put him and who in the same light?
the Baby Bull, Juan Diaz.
Why is that?
Because it's just like, it's just like a lot of hype for what. But I was actually impressed by Andre Berto's performance. I saw a lot in him that, I guess we've seen before, but up against Steve Forbes. Steve Forbes was kind of hanging in there with Oscar. And the first round looked interesting. That was given to Berto. That first round. But then the second round, that's when Stevie Forbes turned up the heat on him, and he was catching him. He was catching him hard.
Right.
And then after the second round, it was all downhill for me. I mean, Andre Berto just dominated the fight. But I was really impressed with his speed.
Was it the second or the third when they had that talk with Andre in the corner and he seemed to turn it up?
Third, I think.
That was after the third.
I
think I had gave Steve 2 out of the first 3 rounds. Like we're a couple of days behind.
Well, maybe it was a third.
Yeah.
It seemed like Steve Forbes just lost a lot of zing to his punches.
I mean, the thing is, it's not so much he lost zing to his punches. He's fighting about 3 weight classes from where he was last time a champ at. He was a super featherweight champ. That's what he had his belts at. So you have a dude that fought at 130 for the bulk of his career, who went up to, was it 154 pounds for the contender?
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot. That's a huge, increase in weight. And he fought Oscar at 50.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's fighting Berto at 47. It's still 20 pounds outside of his comfortable weight class. So that's why, you see Steve fighting these dudes and it looks like his punching power had, they can't hurt a fly. And it's because, he's really a super featherweight.
Steve is cashing out, basically.
Yeah, he's a 2-time champ. He had a belt.
Mm-hmm.
He defended it against some quality opponents. Like I said, he went up, tried to get a payday. He knows his days in boxing are numbered, so now he's trying to get that guap, trying to get that guapapoli, baby.
He trying to get that chicken. Shout out to Ride or Die. He's a fighter, as Docs always says. He's basically turned into a gatekeeper. Put on. He's a company man. Down with Golden Boy, I think that gave him some opportunities once he took the fight with Oscar because he's too small to be in that division. And even if he's coming from flyweight, he still only has 9 knockouts, so he didn't have a featherweight. He didn't have a lot of knockouts then.
But he was a slick fighter. He was a fighter that relied on defense, making you miss a lot. Scoring. That's a typical.
This is not a bash for Steve Forbes because we're just setting it up to tell you what type of fighter did they put Andre Berto in a ring with.
True.
Berto is a young lion. Like, I have my issues with him that I will get into a little later on. I love his story. I love him as a person. I love him against certain individuals, but I think he's going to have problems against other people. We'll get into that later on. But Berto basically just outworked him. A lot of punches early on wasn't landing. That the crowd was assuming it was landing. It was getting blocked. I think
They were getting blocked.
Yeah, I think Steve is a slicker guy, but eventually the age and the fact that that Berto knew he couldn't get hurt from him. He just kept punches coming, kept outworking him, just kept outworking him.
See, but the thing is, like, everybody's talking about Berto's strength and speed. I don't know about strength.
I don't know about strength.
Talk about
Like
speed. Right.
Somebody was talking.
They talk about his power too.
Power.
There's a little some over sensationalism going on with HBO.
It's one thing.
Yeah, just like what
A
they
great
do for
friend,
Diaz.
a great friend from Detroit, Manny Stewart said, he was like, and I agree with that. One of the few times I agree with what Emmanuel says lately. He said, whenever you put your, he's not a big fan of speed punches because you get so caught up in throwing flurries that none of those punches land cleanly. He was in there with a fight. Steve was game, but he really wasn't offensive minded. He was in there more so trying to go 12 rounds with Berto against somebody. Well, I don't want to jump ahead, but against some of the bigger welterweights,
Right.
What they are
make him pay. Yo, that's you know, he's not savvy enough in terms of
Talking about Berto.
Berto. He's
Right.
not savvy enough to be able to go 12 rounds with some of the other solid welterweights that we have in the division right now.
Well, they said that they wouldn't put him against.
Right. It's
some of the
starting to
bigger
be.
guys.
It's funny because in boxing, everybody's starting to be very honest about keeping people away from certain people.
Yeah, they
And
said that.
We'll get into that. Like, far as dealing with Berto,
Well, when did that become the norm?
Lou was basically like he's not gonna put him in the ring with Paul or with
Yeah.
Tony because they're too big and
They
he hoping
trying-
they'll
he's
just
like-
move along. Since Berto's been hurt, has he been in with a puncher yet? Since then,
Nah, I don't
He
think
hasn't. and that's the big thing. He's fighting smaller guys, but he's also fighting smaller guys that can't pop.
But these opponents he's had are more confident builders than anything.
Yeah,
There's
of
still
course.
a lot of other guys in the division that he can go in and fight. He can fight Quintana. Let's see how he looks against
Yeah.
Quintana.
I got him beating Quintana and Collazo.
So
I have
those fights.
What about
but-
Central?
I don't
No,
think he can be able.
I
to
think
hurt
Central's
him.
too big for him.
Yeah, that's why the reason I said those two guys, even though they're lefties, they're southpaws.
Right.
Still, these are guys who I like to call gatekeepers. You know, they've been in world title fights. You know, our boy Quintana won a title fight.
Let's go with Collazo first. He's the mandatory.
It's mandatory.
How do you have him?
It's gonna be a 12-round fight, and I don't know how Berto will look against a southpaw. I don't think he's been in there with a southpaw yet. So Collazo's a little slick too.
Mm-hmm.
So Collazo might make him look bad, but eventually I think Berto will wear him out, down,
Right.
possibly stop him late. You know,
Oh, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
what you think about him, Collazo?
You know,
This isn't too much.
I really don't know. You don't know about Collage.
Oh, all right, you
You trying
got
to
it.
put me on camera, man. Like, I don't know.
I mean, I'm the editor. It's not gonna make it.
Keep that.
Mike has gotten pissed off.
No, I see him beating Collage. I do. I see
I
him
see him
winning
being
the decision.
Collazo.
Yeah.
One decision probably stop him.
I think he'll knock Collazo out. Only simply because Collazo's been inactive. I don't know what Collazo's confidence is right now, and I think he gets outworked. He gets outworked by Collazo, who isn't a heavy puncher.
Well, so what about Quintana?
I got-
Quintana's a little tougher fight though.
I think Quintana's an easier fight.
I'll tell you-
Quintana just looked that good against
You know,
Paul Whitaker.
hold on. I'll take it back.
So he's
Like I said, Quintana is damaged goods. He's done. He's done ever since Cotto took it out of him. My man Paul just looked bad in that first fight.
the pressure for Berto. That's a good fight for him. I just think it's a walk down fight, just like Cotto. And it ain't the fact that it's just too much pressure. And I think Berto eventually gets him out of there. And the fact that he's been knocked out in the first round.
Hey,
Well, you know,
you forget another guy. You forgetting Josh Clotty. We don't want him in there with
They're not
Josh
fighting
Clotty.
Josh
yeah,
Cotty.
we see, and that's the thing. We can go on and on about
How about Zab?
prospects. Zab,
Put him in there with
It's knocked
Zab.
out. Zab knocks him out. But
Zab-
Zab got the punch though.
I think Zab will knock him out.
No, Berto. I think
I would
If you
love to
get-
see that fight.
if you
that's a
get,
good fight.
you get 5 good rounds out of Zab, Zab could knock him
Zab
out.
could hurt him early.
If Zab's greatest
There
chance
we
to knock
go.
him out is in round 1. We're back on Zab
The
again.
big what if with Zab. We're back to the Zab can win a title again.
Isn't that a shame? How
Look, wherever you at, you're trying to find Zab.
Zab, that's a good fight. It's exciting
You know
too.
why? Because Zab was such a talented fighter, man.
There we go again.
I mean, you
Shout
Where's
out to Max-
Coltrane?
Shout out to Max Kellerman.
Where's Coltrane? That takes us to the Shane Mosley. Is one of our favorite fighters.
That was a funny fight. Now, rounds 1 through, what was it, 4 or 5? And then that period between round 5 and like round 10, it was like something you want to fall asleep on.
Yeah, it did a dead spot.
Yeah, the fight hit that dead spot, and what I saw at the dead spot was Shane's age catching up to him. Definitely.
But people might get angry with this statement, but I make a parallel between Shane and Mike Tyson are very similar in certain ways. Simply because once they reached, well, mainly Mike's lack of training and him going in with different people in the corner, man, these are very athletic fighters, very fast, powerful fighters. But once the athleticism leaves, you see how fundamentally flawed they are. Like, you're kind of blinded with Mike's display of upper torso movement and punches and bunches. You don't understand that he squares up a lot. You don't understand that when he throws punches, sometimes he changes his pivot. But as he slows down and Holyfield drops him with a body shot, you start paying attention to these things.